The holidays are a special time and typically full of festivities. There's time with family, social gatherings, gift giving, and just all around merriment. But with all of the joy that comes with the holiday season, for most, a lot of stress comes with this time of the year as well. The holiday season is a busy time of the year, and it's easy to be lenient with some of your self-care practices. But because this is such a busy time, that's even more of a reason to be checking in with yourself and practicing your stress management tools and coping strategies. The first step in implementing some stress management strategies is recognizing what your stressors may be during this busy time. If you are aware of your stressors, then you can put some plans and strategies in place to help you cope with them. Here are some of the most common stressors people tend to face during the holiday season, and some things to keep in mind as you work through them. Strained relationships can cause a lot of stress around the holidays. Many of us spend time with family during this time of year, and while it's nice to see family, when you have a strained or challenging relationship with certain family members, you may experience feelings of anxiety, stress, anger, self-doubt, and more. There's lots of things that can cause a relationship to feel strained, but oftentimes, this strain results from differences in opinions and lifestyles. Maybe you feel judgment from a family member who lives differently than you do. Maybe you feel like you have to shield unwanted comments regarding things like your weight, your relationship status, your job, or other life choices. Or maybe you're watching a family member make poor decisions in their life, and that causes you to feel overwhelmed and drained. Whatever the reason for this difficult relationship, this type of relationship tension can be magnified during the holidays. When it comes to these difficult relationships, remember to keep your boundaries in place. When you are coping with a strained relationship, try to appreciate this person for who they are, but remember there is a space between the two of you. Making a conscious effort to recognize the space between you and this other person may help you avoid being too emotionally impacted by their comments and judgments. Also, make a conscious effort to prioritize yourself during this season. Yes, it's a season of generosity and giving, but remember, you can't give to others with joy if you aren't making time for yourself. Make time for yourself and practice your affirmations. The more you affirm yourself and your strengths, the more you'll be able to face your strained relationship with grace, dignity, and a spirit of generosity. Another major stressor during the holidays is money. There's so much to spend money on this time of year. Traveling can be a big expense. There's often pressure to participate in gift exchanges, dinners, parties, decorations. It all costs money. Unfortunately, when money is a concern, the joy of the season can quickly become overshadowed by stress and shame. One way to cope with some of the stress that comes with financial pressures at the holiday season is to plan ahead. Think about what expenses you need to make a priority. Set aside some funds for those things, and then be prepared to cut back on other, less important expenses, like your daily London fog. Next, be honest. Let friends and family know that the expenses that come with the holidays are causing you some stress. This might include letting them know that you will be opting out of some gift exchanges or need to scale back on some of the dining and shopping that sometimes accompanies the season. Sure, this directness might be a little surprising at first, but most will readily accept that information and try to accommodate your concerns with more affordable alternatives of some holiday events. Finally, practice a positive perspective and gratitude. It's easy to think of all the traveling you wish you were doing or wishing you could buy more elaborate gifts. But remember, money is not the reason for the season, and the more time you can spend reminding yourself to be grateful for all that you do have, the less money will feel like a burden. A particularly difficult stressor that a lot of people face at the holidays relates to missing a loved one. Whether it's the first holiday season without a loved one, or if the loved one has been absent for years, there's no getting used to this. The most important thing to keep in mind as you face the holidays without a loved one is that it's okay to experience feelings of grief and loss. While it is great to think about what you are grateful for during the holiday season, you have no obligation to be a constant ball of joy. If you're missing a loved one, reflect on this person and spend time thinking about the memories and traditions that you shared with them. Allow yourself to grieve what you have lost without judgment, and then bring yourself back to the present and focus on the gratitude you have for having that person in your life. Also, keep in mind you don't have to go through these tough emotions alone. While you might feel like you don't want to burden others with your grief during such a festive season, Friends and family are often willing to process these emotions with you. Just remember, there's no right way to cope with loss. Be patient with yourself. Breathe deeply when you are feeling overwhelmed, and only put as much on your holiday schedule as you feel comfortable with. That being said, don't forget your loved one would want you to have a happy holiday. So embrace your grief, but don't feel guilty for celebrating some joy too. The pressure to be perfect can cause a lot of stress around the holidays as well. Throwing the perfect holiday party, cooking the perfect holiday dinner, sending out the perfect holiday card. We sometimes put a lot of expectations on the holidays, and the pressure to make it all seem perfect can be a difficult one to cope with. On top of that, there's social media. Social media can be wonderful, and it's great to see all of the holiday traditions of friends and families, especially those we can't be with in person. But it can add a lot of stress around the expectation to be perfect. It's easy to see images of what looks like the perfect holidays and be disappointed when our real-life holiday celebrations all turn out a little less than picture perfect. Remember to remind yourself that a lot of what you see out there is curated and not an accurate picture of what is happening in other people's lives. Work hard this holiday season not to compare yourself to others. You can help do this by practicing your affirmations. You are enough. Remind yourself audibly that the only person whose expectations you have to meet this holiday season are your own. Try to focus less on making your holidays look perfect and focus more on generating good feelings. Practicing gratitude and taking care of yourself can help. A final stressor that tends to arise during the holidays is a feeling of loneliness. The holidays are a busy season, but sometimes all that busyness and watching everyone around you spend time with friends and family can actually lead you to feeling pretty alone. Once again, embrace this feeling. Don't judge yourself for feeling lonely during a time where so many people seem to be happy and busy. Know that it's completely normal to be experiencing more loneliness than usual during the holiday season. Additionally, try to practice a little extra self-care by eating right and getting a little bit of movement each day. Then, reach out to others and let them know how you're feeling. While people often seem busy spending time with their own families during the holiday season, if you reach out and let an acquaintance, friend, or colleague know that you are struggling with these feelings, they'll often prioritize making time to spend with you. While these are some of the stressors we face during the holiday season, there's many more. Keep in mind it's very possible to love the holidays and feel joy and gratitude while also struggling with a lot of stress and even anxiety. Use some of these tips to help you cope with some of that stress. And keep in mind that if you are particularly overwhelmed this holiday season, you can also reach out for professional help. And while the holidays are always stressful, this year they may be even more stressful than usual. It's been a really tough year for a lot of us. COVID has created a lot of difficulties for many of us already this year, and it will continue to impact our holiday season. All we can do is take it one step at a time. Keep breathing and keep practicing your gratitude. There's a lot of external noise as the holidays approach, but try to find a routine that allows you to feel grounded and present each day. Check in with yourself and focus on the positive. As this unprecedented holiday season nears, recognize and acknowledge the difficult emotions you're experiencing. Accept where they are coming from, but work to move past them by focusing on the things that have actually gone right this year. This shift in perspective as the year comes to an end can help you start the upcoming year on a more positive note. Create a great holiday season.